Confession.
Tell me.
It's Thursday, January 13th, 2022. And all my Christmas stuff is still up. Well, actually, that's not true. I took down one banner because I was filming content for my membership and I didn't want it to say Merry Christmas in the
You
back.
don't have the Merry Christmas up anymore?
Yeah, so I took that one down. And actually, I didn't take it all the way down. I took one corner of it down and then it was just hanging, waiting for the cat to attack it. And then I finally was like, hey, Anthony, can you take that the rest of the way down? And I don't want to take it down because like once you take down Christmas, it just is like empty. It's
So
empty.
I'm going to piggyback on that confession. So I had a really shitty Christmas. Like I planned this huge Christmas. Like I planned this huge Christmas and it was going to be giant. I've been planning it since July and I had this really romantic thing planned and I was going to do all this stuff. And then, my person left me. So I was like, I'm not going to do Christmas at all and I'm really sad. So instead, I've decided that I'm going to do Christmas in July.
Ooh.
So I've pre-told myself that I'm prepping for July. I'm going to do a big Christmas in July and I'm going to enjoy Christmas in July.
So
instead.
what are you going to do?
I'm going to put up all my Christmas decorations and I'm going to celebrate Christmas for myself in July. And I'm going to invite anybody else who wants to do Christmas in July with me.
Oh, I'm down.
Can we make I'm going to do if people want to do small gifts as just like small like tchotchke gifts and stuff. But I'm like, I missed Christmas this year. My December blew big, huge chunks. And I'm like, I really want to do a really wonderful Christmas. Because Christmas, I reclaimed it many years ago and I really enjoy Christmas. And
I'm here for this.
Didn't get to.
Fun.
Yeah.
You did go to the Bellagio, which I know is always something you like to do around this time of year.
I did.
Wasn't there like a guy there doing weird stuff? What was he doing?
So I followed this guy. He literally, if you follow my stories, he's on there. He was like adjusting everything as if like it needed to be fixed.
Right.
Like if the flowers weren't quite right and like the ornaments weren't just symmetrical enough. And he totally caught me like videoing him and he was just like, I can't help it. I decorate for a living.
Oh, that's so funny.
It was so funny because I was like filming him and I'm there at like 4:30 in the morning and he's like sitting there and he's just like arranging things just so as he walks along and you can see his little eyeballs popping out of his head and he would lean over and like adjust the poinsettia leaves.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I don't think this is your job.
He's like, I can't help it. It's not in the right place.
He literally couldn't handle it. He was like, it was breaking his little mind.
Well, there's an ornament on my tree right now. I noticed it this morning. It's Eeyore, and he's for some reason turned into the tree. So it's just the back of Eeyore, and I'm like, interesting.
That seems pretty like on point for Eeyore, though.
I mean, it really does. It's very, very.
It seems like Eeyore is making the right choices, especially for this year's Christmas. He was like, yes, this is how we're doing it this year. So, all right, everyone. On those notes, let's go ahead and get this party started. All right. I'm Cybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses. Running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it all out, but we promise to share everything we know about what it takes to make six figures and beyond.
And be brutally honest about what works and what blows chunks.
I'll be honest, a bunch of it really blows chunks. But let's go ahead and get started.
Welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we're talking about credit and specifically how to use credit without it being scary.
And how to leverage credit to build your business the right way.
Mm-hmm. So this came out of actually the intro to the last show. We started talking a lot about credit. I was like, we got to make this a whole episode. And here we are. So I will start with my Cybil Solon School of Credit testimonial. I feel like, how many rides of credit card debt have you been on with me?
It's been a little bit. So everyone, if you don't know me and my credit history, I am a credit guru. I know everything there is about credit because I grew up in a family where my family went bankrupt a few times. And I literally lived on the roller coaster of watching my parents shuffle credit and credit cards and whatever around. I've had credit since I was 16 and credit cards, and I've done it all with credit. So when somebody comes to me and they're like, I'm having trouble with credit, I'm like, tell me more.
Mm-hmm. Well, I dug myself a hole a while ago. And then I got a large chunk of money, was able to pay that all off. But the habits weren't fixed. So
Yeah.
got into that a deep hole again. And this time committed myself to learning what it takes to get out of debt, changing my behaviors, doing all of that. And I'm happy to say that I have now moved the champagne bottle to the front of the fridge because that bitch is getting opened up in less than 6 months.
That's
So
amazing.
get
2022,
ready.
people.
Yeah, probably earlier because I've already decided that some of the money that I earmarked for taxes, I won't have to pay that much in taxes. So I'm going to pay off that credit card debt as soon as
This is
possible.
brilliant. I love it. I love it so much. If you're sitting and you're listening to this episode and you like want to turn it off because you're yourself are scared and you're in a
Sweating.
credit card problem and it's making you sweaty and grossed out and sad, hey, stick with us because
Yeah.
there is hope for you. I don't care how bad. I don't care if you're like, I'm thousands and billions of dollars in debt. In fact, you're the person who should be listening. Or if you're like, I don't even use credit cards, you should be listening because you should use, there's a way to use credit the right way. When I ever hear business owners that are like, I don't use credit, I don't have credit cards, I'm like, oh my God. So we have to have a conversation. You're a business owner, you should be using credit. You have to use credit. And if you have a ton of debt, you should be using credit properly and we can get you out of debt. There's always a solution to your problem.
Yeah. Yes. Which
Yes.
is a whole nother. But yeah, no. So I definitely went to the school of Cybil credit. Actually, just a couple months ago, we were talking about stuff, and you were like, "Well, you should get a balance transfer going." I was like, "Well, I don't know." And no shocker there, it worked, and it saves me like over $400 a month in interest, which moved up my payoff date so much faster.
And how
So
easy was
credit,
it? And how easy was it?
it was pretty easy. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe how easy it was. And you
It
were
was
like, "Just
surprisingly
ask," and I
easy.
was like, huh? Really? But I think, yeah, credit is there's a very specific set of rules when it comes to credit. And I feel like, I don't even think it's the credit card companies, like more consumers are like, be careful, credit
Yeah.
is scary, and like discourage you from playing the game.
Yes.
And playing the game doesn't come without risk, but I'm sorry, if you're buying Bitcoin and
There actually
buying
is no
stocks,
risk.
there's
There is
risk.
no risk within credit card. There are rules, and as long as you play within the rules, you're fine.
Well, I mean, the risk in that having $40,000 of credit card debt that takes you 3 years to pay off, or however.
But the only risk in that was that you didn't play within the rules. You didn't play within the rules. So
Right.
I would say when you're dealing with credit card stuff, know thyself. It's very much like if you are a person who knows that they are going to eat an entire carton of ice cream, maybe you aren't the person who has an entire carton of ice cream sitting in your house because you know you're going to make yourself sick. Not because you don't want to eat the whole ice cream, and I'm not judging you for eating all the ice cream, but you're just like, I don't want to be sick. Like making myself sick is a bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I think knowing yourself is like half of this battle. And I personally, had to go to a place where I went zero credit, wasn't using credit at all, to be able to heal my relationship with credit, because it had been very tumultuous in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
So and there is an emotional thing that happens with credit. So understand that if you have like kind of a breakdown with credit, understand that there are things that you might not have grown up with credit properly. You might have emotional stuff. We have a person we mutually know, she's been on the show before, who can help you with all those things. That's what she does. It's her special gift. And we'll make sure we put her in the show notes as well.
Yeah, go check out Lindsay Bryan Podman for sure. But I think, the biggest rule is they need to be paid off monthly. And so it's in full. It's not a banking account or a checking account. It's just another way to leverage cash. So that's what I wanted to ask you questions about today. So why do we need a credit card in the name of our business? So for example, I have an LLC. I do not have a credit card in the name of that LLC. Why would I even want to do that in the first place if I already have a credit card that I'm like using as business?
Right. So if you are a sole proprietor, this doesn't matter as much. So if you're listening, you're like, I'm a sole proprietor, it probably doesn't matter as much. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you just have one or two credit cards that you keep and you use those just for business, it won't matter as much. Okay. But if you're an LLC or a S Corp or something like that, you want to open up a credit card in the name of that business and use that one because it gives you protection. Anything that you put on a personal card, that is a personal purchase that is not covered on the LLC. So if something should happen to that item or so let's say you buy a piece of machinery and you use that machinery and it hurts somebody. That piece of machinery was purchased as a personal item. It is not covered per se under your insurance.
Really?
Really, honest to God.
Whoa.
Because in this day and age of litigious world,
Yeah.
anything they can find to find a reason to not cover you is a
Right. They're
reason to
going to
not
take.
cover you.
Right.
Right? So
Whoa.
you want to make sure that you are covered every way, shape, and form possible. Okay. So let's say that you did purchase that on a personal card. You need to at least make sure the paper trail is super clear that it was then paid off again by by yourself, by the company. But it's really just a much cleaner and better option if you make sure that it's just purchased by that credit card. And simple as that. Also, business credit cards have much higher credit limits. They have better options to them. They actually, when they go into like QuickBooks and stuff like that, they have better information attached to them because credit cards know what you're doing with a business. They have better information attached to them as well.
Oh, that's a really good point. Because, yeah, there's a lot of like extra labor on my end of getting stuff into QuickBooks. What is the difference too? Because I said this to you and you're like, that's not the same thing between a business line and a business card.
Okay, so a business line of credit is literally like a small loan. It's a small loan that you're leveraging with essentially your good name and your business as leverage. So a credit card is literally just credit. They're just giving you money that you are paying off monthly or with interest attached to it. Whereas a business line of credit, you're actually often paying for that business line of credit. So a credit card, you tend not to pay except for the interest. And you might pay a tiny amount for like an annual fee or something like $95, something for actually holding the card, for the privilege of having the credit card. But line of credit often has, it's like a bank account in its own way, where it has it like a $250 a year fee, or it has a monthly fee attached to it, as well
like
as
a loan.
interest. Yeah, it's like a loan. So it's a line of credit. So if you have a line of credit on a house, it's the same thing. It's a home equity line of credit. So it works the same way. So if anybody has a mortgage out there and they have a HELOC, home equity line of credit, that is the same thing. You can have a line of credit on your business. So you're using your business to leverage. And they can take away your business if you're not paying. They can take everything in your business. Whereas your credit card, they probably aren't going to take away your business.
No, stay away.
No.
Interesting. And then, I mean, like, what kind of, are there things that you, like, I'm thinking of like expenses that you definitely put on a credit card versus ones that you wouldn't for your business?
So in general, like I make sure that I do for the credit, I'm careful about the credit cards I pick. So for me, I always put large items on a credit card because a lot of times those credit cards, they give you extra, as I said, security. So a lot of times they have additional warranties on them, like they'll extend your warranty longer, or they'll give you additional cash back or something like that. So you want to make sure that you have that. Also, they track everything. So when I'm using my credit card, I like to make sure that it tracks everything for me. I have a very clear paper trail. Also, if you 1099 people, if you can put people on credit cards, it's better you don't have to 1099 them. And so that's also really nice.
Wait.
Yeah, so
if
you can pay people on a credit card, you don't have to 1099 them.
So if they're invoicing you through QuickBooks, for example, and you have the option to pay by credit card.
Yes.
If you pay by credit card, how?
Because the credit card makes it so you don't have to, it is track them. Why you 1099 is because essentially you've paid cash and the IRS is like, we need to know where that money is gone. If the credit card company has information about them,
right, because they're reporting
that shows that shows where the money was going.
Oh,
interesting, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely ask my tax professional about that too, because that's a great a great thing. I'm like,
Yeah, so you don't have to 1099. It's a small piece of information that's in there, and because you're at the end of as long as it's a business credit card,
only. Okay.
business credit card.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
I'll run
these are
out.
important things. Other things that I like to make sure that I put on. So like one of my credit cards, it's one of my Inc. business Chase cards. It actually protects my cell phone. So it'll give me $1,000 if I somehow mess up my cell phone. So it has
Mhm.
$1,000 protection. Now, mind you, that doesn't pay for my entire iPhone, but it's something for my
Yeah.
iPhone if I jack it up. I lose
Right.
it.
And if
It
you're
gets
like me
stolen.
and you buy them used,
Right. If I leave it in a taxi somewhere
hey, don't
and
judge.
so these are the kinds of things. So I make sure that I pick credit cards that have these additional benefits to them that I can use and
Hmm.
utilize.
Hmm. Yeah. What else about credit? Like, what are some things that like I'm not thinking about as I'm looking forward to, opening not a line of credit? No, a
You're opening
business
up a
card.
credit card. So you're just
Yeah.
opening up a credit card. So when you're thinking about opening up a credit card and picking up a credit card, some of the things I think about are, do they have any offers attached to them? So one of the things is, does it have a 0% APR offer? How long is that offer? And am I looking to purchase anything within that period of time? Does it have a low balance offer like that I can move a higher balance too? So Alex, one of the things you said is you had a bunch of credits sitting, a balance that was sitting on another card. And I looked at you and I'm like, well, do you have any offers that you could move your balance to and stop paying interest?
Hmm.
And you were like, I don't think so. And I'm like, you should go ask.
Well, it was because where I got confused was it was two cards.
You have two
And
cards onto it.
right. And I'd never done that before. And they were like, yeah, sure. No problem. No problem at
No
all. Cause they would
problem. No
rather have
problem.
my
And
money.
there's so many like levels or like boss levels to this. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, I talked to you about the fact that certain cards they'll literally just give you checks, and the checks you can deposit that money directly into your account, and then it becomes cash in your account, and then you can just
Did
pay
that.
yourself cash.
Did that.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I have cash now just sitting in my account. Now, mind you, all of this money has to be paid back, but it's like a small loan for a certain amount of time that's cost you zero money for that amount of time.
Yeah. I couldn't, I
So
mean, I couldn't believe it when you were saying this to me. I was like, there's no way. And then I went and looked and I was like, oh shit, there's a way.
yes, but you have to understand. So I always talk about the fact that I did this to pay off my hydrofacial. So I had a 24-month 0% APR offer on an American Express card.
Mhm.
And I purchased a large ticket item, a $25,000 item. And I planned out that I would pay off my hydrofacial within 24 months. I like to make sure that if I am buying a large ticket item, that I pay it off a month before that 0% offer is done. That way, if
Mhm.
anything should go wrong, I have an extra month to like manage my life.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I plan it out. I'm like, and I start making payments right away. So it's not like I don't pay. I start paying the amount right away. So I'm like, okay, I have this many months. I divide that by 24. That's how much I pay in this 24-month period. But it's still much cheaper than taking a loan from somebody because
Mhm.
it's 0%.
Mhm.
0%. It's no interest is the best interest.
No. That is very true. Now, if you're listening to this conversation and you are currently in debt, one thing that I found to be super helpful, there's like a couple different philosophies as to, which card to pay off first. So there's one school of thought that's like pay off the highest interest because that's going to save you the most money. But then there's also the psychology of paying off the lowest balance
Right.
because then you feel like a boss. And then, I mean, also when I paid off the lowest balance first, and then I started going after the highest interest because I wanted that win. But then that also frees up a card for you so that when you get to a place where, the stars have aligned, then things like those balance transfer offers may
Are
open up.
available.
So that might be another thing to think about as you're looking at this and, starting to take control of your credit because just because people have credit card debt, my credit card debt was like dumb. It was like groceries and shit that I needed at the time, but I didn't leverage it to buy a hydrofacial machine that I then used to make money in my business.
Right.
So it behooves me to pay it off. But if I might, if I could go back and do it again, I would have started paying off a card that I knew a balance transfer offer was going to come on sooner, rather than the lower
Yes.
balance, which is an American Express, that they were like, we don't care. You have no balance transfers. So
Right.
that would be the only thing I do differently. But there's a number of like cool, if you just like Google like credit card payment spreadsheet, you guys know I love spreadsheets, but I have this really cool spreadsheet that I use that I was able to enter my balances and the interest rates. And then it gave me like, okay, pay this on your cards. And you could say, oh, I had like an extra $200 this month. And they'll say, great, put it to this card, and it adjusts everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been really fun to just watch. Oh, if I pay an extra, $500 this month, how does that alter my balance? Oh, it doesn't really change a whole lot. Maybe it's not really worth it. Let me use that money elsewhere, whatever.
Absolutely. And I mean, one of the things that I talk about a lot when I talk about kind of getting your debt down, and Alex and I had many conversations, and
So
understand
many.
that understand that when you're talking about debt, as Alex said, like Alex and I had lots of conversations, and many of the times Alex would be like, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, because you have to be in a place that you're ready to listen, and you also want to you want to like move forward in your debt process.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be ready to move forward. You have to be paying off something that you feel comfortable and confident paying off. So however you're paying off debt, you're paying off debt the right way. That's as simple as that. So don't get stuck in the like idea of like, well, what if I'm paying it off wrong? You're paying it off right. You're paying it off. Congratulations. There probably is the right way that makes you the most money and but guess what? It doesn't matter. You're paying it off. You're paying it off. You're paying it off. Okay. Don't stress it. You're going to get there. What I like to do when I'm helping somebody pay off their debt is I ask them, what's going to make you feel the best paying off your debt? Alex was like, I want to pay off the least. I want that win. Like I want to look at one of my cards and pay it off. Awesome. Absolutely. For me, I look at somebody's debt and I say, where am I going to be able to find money to leverage credit later? Because I want to get you more credit. Also, and Alex and I did this as well, is I had her do the things first, because there are a couple things I have you do first. Call every single credit card and see if you can actually negotiate the credit down. Can you ask them to get your interest rates down? Because surprisingly enough, you sometimes can.
It depends definitely on the bank too. But I was doing exactly that, and I called my Chase card, and they were like, "Yeah, I mean, we could also just give you the 0% offer you have." And I was like, "What? I didn't even know that was an option." But yeah, get on the phone and talk to people, because most people won't do that, and they are willing. Some are. I also got like laughed off the phone other places, like, but you got to ask.
Right. By the way, I'm going to put it out there. The Bank of Chase is one of my favorites. I have a ton of Chase cards because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not like a big proponent. I don't like love banks, whatever, but the Bank of Chase has been phenomenally good to me. I think that they're very clear about what they're going to do for you. They're very open about how they're going to help you. And of all of like, kind of like when I go through like the fine print of things, their stuff is incredibly forgiving and really clear. I've always been very thankful when I have a Chase card that I'm managing, because I'm like, they're very good. And when you talk to their representatives, they understand exactly what's happening. They know what you're doing, and they want to help you.
Yeah.
They want you to pay off. They're not like some other credit cards where they're like, we want you to pay the interest like Citibank. They're like, we want you to pay the interest and we don't want to help you out of this hole. Chase is like, we don't need you to pay our interest. We just want you to be a good customer. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a different vibe.
It's
Don't get me started on Care Credit.
So I will put out mad props to Chase. I really like Chase as a company, as a credit card company. I appreciate them. I like them. I own a lot of their pieces of credit. I own a lot from the Bank of Chase for that reason. So when you are going, first thing you're going to do is you're going to call credit card companies. You're going to ask them if they can lower your interest rate. Simple to do. Call every single one. Even if you're told no, maybe even just one will tell you yes. The next thing you're going to do, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to see, depending on what your credit card score is, you might find that you could open up another credit card that is a 0% offer. Start moving one of those higher interest rates too. And it depends on what your rate is. Like if you have a really bad score, that might not be for you. I also want to remind business owners that your business credit and your personal credit are seen completely different. So a lot of times you can't open a personal credit card, but you can open a business one.
Okay. again, thinking of this business credit card, would you recommend just like Googling business credit card, or would you, if you already have credit cards, like at Chase, for example, calling them up and asking what they have available?
You can just Google. You can totally just Google. So there's a couple of things you can definitely do. So like high level is I use Doctor of Credit. Doctor of Credit is one of my favorite places to go. Drcredit.com is one of my favorite places to kind of, yeah. Also Nerd Wallet is another good one to kind of like find out like which credit cards are kind of the best for you, what they offer. I always start at Chase because Chase has some of the best. Their Ink credit cards are my favorite. Understand that when you're first starting, you might want to make sure that you open a card that has no annual fee.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the Freedom cards are some of their best. But the Ink Business, they often will have like a $95 annual fee. That might be okay for you because it's something that gives you a lot of benefits.
I mean, honestly, I just Googled Chase Ink for business, and they have a number of cards that have no annual fee.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Their Ink Cash card is fantastic. It's one of my favorites. I own 2 of them. They're fantastic.
Look at this, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Hello.
I do consults on this all the time. You're welcome to DM me. I do consults on credit cards all the time for people. So
oh my gosh, yes.
The Ink brand is such an incredibly good brand. It gives you a lot for your money or not money, as the case may be. But that's usually where I start when I'm looking for a credit card, for a business credit card. And it depends on what I'm trying to do. But don't just pick whatever credit card came in the mail or something that like your bank offered you, like Wells Fargo offered you or something.
No.
Yeah. Go and actually search for the credit card that is right for you and gives you the best option. Also, when you're applying for them, there are a bunch of rules to application. Understand that they're going to do a hard credit. They're going to do a hard credit hit to you. So you actually want to do applications close together because when it hits your credit, if they hit them close together, it counts as kind of one hit to your credit as opposed to like a bunch of them.
Oh, well.
Right. And also with like most credit card companies, each bank is considered like Barclays, Chase, Wells. Who the credit card is from matters because you can only apply to a certain number of cards for each bank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense because I know too with like balance transfers, you can't transfer a balance from one Chase card to another Chase card unless you take the cash option, which I learned from Cybil, and it saved me so much money. Seriously, guys, seriously.
I'm very good. I'm very good at this.
It is. I would totally take you up. I mean, for those listening, and actually, I have questions for you after we get off this call. On your offer and like using your skill for credit, because seriously, y'all, like I was terrified, and I spent like 14 months just doing my thing till I felt more confidence in myself and how my relationship was with credit before I started playing some of these games. And that's totally, totally fine. But like now, oh my gosh, like I paid off a card like a week ago and I was just like, credit cards on my bitch. Like it's a totally different vibe now, you know?
That's right.
So it is possible. Right. There is a light at the end of the tunnel and your guidance has been so super helpful for that.
You're very welcome. But yeah, everyone should just be able to like take control of their credit, feel powerful in the knowledge that a credit card, if you're using your credit properly, you are using your credit. The bank is your friend and you're using your credit to do things, to help your business, to support your business. And a credit card is just like a bank. It's just a bank who's like, here's some money. It's just like a loan. Here's some money. And then if you use it properly, you're just paying off that money every single month. Mm-hmm. It's when you decide that you're going to put something silly on that credit card, like a coffee or a bag or something like that. And you're like, well, I'm just going to pay it off in the future with some interest. You have to remember, do the math on what that interest costs. That thing that was on sale that you had to have is now got 20% interest on it. So it wasn't on sale at all. You paid a ton of money for that item. That coffee that you put on there is now a $1,500 cup of Starbucks.
So true. Oh my God! Please don't remind me of this. It hurts.
Yeah, and there are times in your life where you're like, I'm broke. I am broke ass, and I just need help. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At those times, and that's when I have conversations with people. I'm like, if you have to put it on your credit card before you start, go to your credit card company first and say, I need to start utilizing your credit card. How low can my interest be? Before you start putting stuff on the credit card, they want you to use their credit card.
That is $1 million advice. Yeah, because once you already have maxed out
They've
the
got
card,
you.
they're not going to play with you.
They're not going to play with you. But if you start like, hi, I'd like to start using your credit card. You know, I've been interested in starting to use your credit card. I've taken on my wallet. It looks interesting. Can you give me a better interest offer?
Ugh, I wish I had that. Oh well, moving forward, playing the game
These are the
later.
things that you can start learning how to do.
So seriously, you guys, run, do not walk into Cybil's DM. She's at Skin Fitness Expert, and like book your call and get your life sorted out, because it is like, it just opens up. Honestly, if it were not for the, extra influx of cash I was able to get into my business in this last year, it helped make so much possible, because I was able to like make the jumps that really, really, really helped. So if you're like thinking about this, but you're like, I just want someone to like look at what I have now and like help guide me through, hit Cybil up at Skin Fitness Expert on Instagram. Run, do not walk. You can also, I'm like, don't ask me because I'm still in the novice phase. You can DM the show directly at Skinfessional. You can tell me like high fives to paying off debt at Holla for Mala. Or you can leave us a voicemail on our Skinfessional box. Just give me a high five. That's all I need. What's
Our
the number for the
Skinfessional
voicemail?
box is 818-473-5277. And mad props to Alex, because she has come a long way. And mad props to you if you have also come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. And also if you like need someone to celebrate it with you, because I know sometimes it can be weird celebrating money with like other people.
Yeah,
We're here for you. No, we're here to
it.
give you, rain down all the confetti upon you for that dusty ass bottle of champagne that's been in the back of your fridge since you bought it like 3 fucking years ago. We are here for that
Absolutely.
celebration.
Absolutely.
You can also hit us up on email. You can email the show directly at skinfessionalpod@gmail.com. That's skinfessional, like the show, POD, @gmail.com.
All right, everyone. So until next week.
Keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Goodbye.
All right, bye.
I'm playing with
your gua sha.
It does. It feels so nice and soft.
It feels so good. It's like once you go to that gua sha, you never go back.
Will it make my forehead wrinkles go away if I do it all the way?
Well, it will help for sure. It will definitely help. Your wand will help much more, but
I'm using my wand. There's like gnarly stuff in here though.
She's like, it hurts so much. I would use
there's a bit in there. That's why.
I would use I'd use the other side. Show me the sides again. No. Use the wave. Yeah, use the wave side.
Not this one, because that's not the shape of my forehead.
That's not the shape of your forehead. Use that side when you first start.
I think there's a zit right there. That's what's up.
Well, that's gonna feel amazing. That's for sure.
The facial was so much fun. I watched the video. I followed the instructions. Oh, don't forget to stop our recording.
Oh, thank you.
We're such nerds.